Storage Wars viewers saw treasure hunters uncover amazing treasures from dusty lockers, ancient comic books, rare coins, and celebrity memorials for years. Before the headlines about staged scenes, behind-the-scenes manipulation, and planted treasures, Storage Wars was merely a notion that appeared too simple to succeed. Its charm derived from its simplicity: abandoned storage units, daring bidders, and the enticing unknown behind every rusty lock. Real-world realism was the foundation. Tenant non-payment puts thousands of U.S. storage facilities into default each year. After a certain time, institutions might sell their contents to recoup lost revenue. Local resellers usually attend these auctions to buy used furniture, electronics, and collectibles to sell. However, executive producer Tom Beers noticed more in 2010. Beers, known for turning daily occupations into captivating TV shows like Deadliest Catch and Ice Road Truckers, thought these auctions had a compelling tale. Risk, mystery, personality. It had everything for terrific reality TV. Twist was, buyers could only peek inside storage units from the threshold. No touching, no digging, just instincts and expertise. That buyer-audience gamble paid out. The A&E show Storage Wars premiered on December 1, 2010. Instead of a modest hit, it erupted. Viewers were captivated. They weren't just watching garbage bids. They watched treasure hunters, gamblers, and hustlers risk their reputations and financial accounts every episode. Characters made the show come alive. Dave Hester was a snobby, nasty buyer whose signature yuck rang like a war cry at auctions. Daryl Sheets, the gambler, loved risking big on expensive units. Barry Weiss, the crazy collector with a vintage automobile and much more vintage charm, became a fan favorite for his humor and uncommon finds. Brandy Passante and Jared Schultz added a family business component, with young underdogs trying to compete with older ones. The cast members had dynamic, competitive, emotional, and even hostile chemistry. However, many viewers didn't know the cast weren't actors. The Southern California auction scene supplied these storage auction buyers. It was authenticity that made Storage Wars special. They didn't read scripts. They made or lost money in front of the camera. Show structure was deceptively basic. Each episode tracked numerous purchasers through storage auctions. Unit doors rolled up. The bidders assessed the contents, sometimes guessing wildly or finding a clue to a priceless treasure behind blankets or boxes. The auction followed. Fast-paced, adrenaline-filled, with hidden connections and conflicts. Once a unit was won, the fun began. The dig. This was the show's core, watching the winners uncover someone else's past. Sometimes they discovered rubbish, sometimes gold. Surprise and delight at finding vintage toys, antique furniture, Civil War memorials, or uncommon pop culture treasures. Local experts estimated a value and added suspense to the findings. Would the buyer profit or lose? The formula worked. Storage Wars was one of AE's top-rated shows by Season 2. It was shown in dozens of countries, garnered millions of weekly viewers, and even boosted interest in storage auctions. Newcomers began attending local facilities across America, wanting to emulate screen success. As the show's popularity grew, so did the demand to entertain. Viewers demanded more findings, bigger payoffs, wilder stories, and things changed. Some long-standing admirers noticed a pattern. Too many units with rare things, lucky surprises, and contrived situations led cast members to speak out behind the scenes. Producers were accused of putting objects in units before auctions, writing confrontations, and turning reality into reality TV. But those insights came later. Early on, Storage Wars felt real. A glimpse into a tiny world few knew existed was unusual. A world where one bid could win or lose everything. Where instinct, experience, and nerve determined profit or shame. The show also captured the thrill of the unknown, a universal emotion. The hope that something important, unique, and life-changing was hiding under an old sofa or behind a pile of magazines. Storage Wars inspired and entertained. It inspired hope that treasure was closer than believed, waiting silently in a neglected locker. That hope and the colorful characters who chased it made the show a hit at first. After its fame, Storage Wars narrative continued. The seasons brought more questions, lawsuits, and blurred the lines between fact and television. Which was real? Planted what? Who knew when and what? Later, the secrets in the dispute that nearly ruined the show were revealed. As storage battles grew rapidly, something changed. The lockers were too good to be true, the rivalries too well scheduled, and fans who thought they were seeing unscripted treasure hunts began to distrust them. How did abandoned units include so many valuable items? How frequently do forgotten storage lockers contain gold bars, rare samurai swords, or vintage arcade machines? The response wasn't encouraging. By 2012, suspicions of manipulation became serious charges, led by the program's most vociferous and recognizable bidder, Dave Hester, whose yup had become a pop culture catchphrase. Hester was suddenly turning against the show that made him famous. The bombshell lawsuit against A was filed by Hester in December 2012, Andean Original Productions, alleging wrongful termination and, more explosively, fraud. In court documents, he alleged producers rigged auctions by concealing valuable items in lockers and manipulating cast disagreement to add drama. His words were direct. Hester said that the show was choreographed, and that what viewers thought were auctions were often prearranged to deceive them. His most shocking claims included that producers would salt storage units with valuable items in advance to guarantee dramatic reveals, that cast members were sometimes given cash to buy expensive lockers to ensure compelling content, that behind-the-scenes assistants would help bidders discover hidden treasures during post-auction digs, and that some rivalries and conflicts were exaggerated or manufactured. The lawsuit rocked reality TV. According to Hester, Storage Wars' credibility hinged on her assertions. Not many watched scripted drama. They wanted real stakes, risks, and rewards. The realization that much was manipulated hit hard. Andy refuted the charges. Hester's charges were disregarded as furious retribution from a former cast member. After Hester refused to appear in episodes he suspected were staged, the network dismissed him, then rehired him for succeeding seasons, ironically reinforcing scripted casting dynamics. The show continued airing and had good ratings, but the lawsuit tarnished its memory. Case settled confidentially out of court in 2014. Hester's claims were never proven, but the damage was done. The mystique was gone, and fans watched more skeptically. Production team insiders later confirmed without naming names. An unknown former crew member informed a media source that it wasn't phony like a movie, but it was aided. We occasionally highlighted something we knew. We sometimes